Welcome to the Testing Habits podcast. This is Eduard Enoiu. Today I'll be speaking with Inderjeet Singh, software leader, manager, and patent officer at Alstom, which is a rolling stock manufacturer which operates worldwide in rail transport markets. Currently, he is running 3 European and 1 Swedish national research project as main coordinator from Alstom on the TCMS, Train Control Management System side. We will talk about his experiences as a practitioner in the safety critical domain, SmartDelta project, communication, and human aspects of software development. Inder is an inspiring person and has a great know-how, as you'll hear. I love talking with you, Inder, as always, and I hope you enjoy our conversation. Yeah, Inder, thanks for being here. Thanks for taking the time to do this interview with me.
Thanks to you to give me the opportunity, Eddie. Yeah.
I'm glad to do this. I was wondering, how did you start your career?
Oh, yeah. So basically, to be honest, when I always talk with my team and young guys. Now I'm getting old. So I always say them I'm an engineer by force, not by really by choice. Because in India, it's a culture. At the time when I was studying my school, either you have only three options. Yeah, either you become an engineer, either you go to a government job, which is from the government, or you go to the to in a medical. Yeah, so I was one of them, and my father was also pushing me. So it was not my choice, but I was okay in the studies, so managed to had a good ranks in India, managed to end up in a decent college. But it was definitely until like second year I was not really enjoying it because it was not what I chose. Yeah, but once you always get into the details, you start knowing things about that particular domain, maybe you start enjoying. Yeah, and that's what exactly happened with me. So
Hmm.
I started enjoying software engineering a lot. And from third fourth year it was like really coming to me. Yeah, so I say, and that was a learning for me. Yeah, that and don't say that I don't like it until you don't try. So my father pushed me a little bit. I tried, and it really got on me. And since then, I'm in this domain, and I'm really enjoying it. Maybe now, as I said, is mainly because I have a bit of knowledge in this area, working in it, and I think I can see that I'm making a difference. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that's what basically happened.
Yeah, so I guess from what you said, I see different aspects that made you go on this path. And now, since you're an accomplished software leader and a manager, and you've been an engineer for a long time, how important were the studies to you? What did you get out of out of the studies you've done? Um,
I think when I look back, I really think that it's really important to do your at least bachelor's and masters. Yeah, it's really important because this is where you build your fundamentals. Yeah, and I'm a strong believer of a thing that if you want to sustain in a software engineering or domain, you need to have a strong fundamentals. Otherwise, you will struggle on the way because and this is where you build in this is what you build in during your studies. So if you have a shaky fundamentals, you will have struggle to learn new languages, new processes, techniques. Yeah, and in our domain we need to continue learning because our domain software engineering is growing quite fast. New languages coming in, new products are coming in. So I would say in when our studies is where you build your basis, and then when you go to industry or research, it's more about scalability. Yeah, applying those fundamentals to the bigger picture. Yeah, so I would say studying it's really important because it's kind of a training to they put you in a different situation, tough situation, of course small scale, but as per your age is good enough. And then you come out as a more let's say big in the domain. So studies, I will really recommend that, if you start, do it, even though it's sometimes boring, but it gives for a long term, it's a really, really important aspect.
Yeah. So I assume your background is in software engineering in your education.
Yes.
Any preference in terms of the courses you took? Was there a teacher that was influenced you, or a series of teachers?
It was series of teachers. Yeah, I would say by nature I'm a person who likes changes a lot, fast changes, and I think I'm a person who is bit fast. Yeah, trying to do things a bit faster. But when you're of that nature, there is more often what happens is that you miss the details. Yeah, and then that was the case with me when I was studying in school, and my teacher knew that I'm very, yeah, I can grasp things quite fast, but I was doing these silly mistakes, yeah, going in detail. My results were not reflecting what I was or what I knew at that time. Yeah, it is. So he really put me. Who he really had a trust on me and built me and taught me these things in that you need to sometime take a seat back, relax, breathe, and also go in detail. Yeah. So there was this teacher who really helped me to grow this trait also while working in a fast pace. So he was in my school time, like I was very young at that time, 14 or 15-year-old. Yeah. So I still have a big impact from this person. His name was, he was in India. He was a chemistry teacher. Yeah. So he really put a lot of faith on me. And even though when I struggled with the results, what he was expecting, he didn't give up on me. So he really spent like 2 years with me, and then that I think was a breaking point for me where he really, yeah, he really, many people were not really having faith in me until then. And after that, I started showing results even in the exams. Yeah, because I had knowledge, I think, but it was not really coming out in the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is very interesting, since I mean I've seen many people having a similar experience as you. Having one or a series of teachers that influenced you quite profoundly.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see this. So I mean, going from your education to your practitioner experience. So you worked in different positions in Alstom, and I guess as a software engineer, manager, leader. Any experience about your work as a practitioner that could be helpful for someone that is not aware of how you work or how Alstom works?
I would say is again I will go back to fundamentals. Yeah. So I had like multiple roles over my career until now in Alstom. I have worked like engineer where I was really into details. Then I was leader and I was leading multiple teams in parallel. Now I'm manager. Yeah. So it's different roles if you really think about it as a nature of work. But fundamentally, what I learned is that there are three things that everybody, if they follow there, I don't think they will fail. Yeah. One is that, be transparent, honest about your skills. Yeah. And don't be afraid to say, I don't know. So transparency that, okay, I may not know one particular programming language, but be open about it and transparent with your peers and manager about it. And then don't be afraid to say, I don't know, but go back and work on it and come back. Yeah. That's one thing. Second, I would say in all the roles I felt is really important to be adaptable and flexible. Yeah, which means that in an industry is a fast pace, correct? We are it's evolving is quite fast evolving. Yeah, then you need to be very flexible in learning new skills and also changing the context of a work, because sometime, or let's say most often, what happens is that you're working on something, you're really in detail, and then suddenly your boss come and says that, okay, now stop this, change to, we need you to work on this. So instead of, you need to sometime let go things, park it and come back. So it's really important to be flexible and adaptive, yeah. And the last thing I would say is basically hard working, yeah. You need to work hard. Okay, you may be very talented, but still there are things, you cannot know everything, correct? You still need to work hard to know about that domain and learn. And if you continue doing, it's my personal view, these three things really helps you to develop, yeah. If and also, don't complaining is good, but it's important to more talk positive. And then, we discuss issues, but don't be stuck with them. Start talk more about the solutions and finding solution for the problems, yeah, rather than stucking on a problem statement, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's good advice. And I guess this comes from your experience also as an engineer and also as a manager, as a leader. And I'm wondering, how is it when how is it to manage or to lead a team of experienced people distributed across continents? How hard it is to develop complex systems,
Yeah.
teams like this.
It is quite hard, to be honest. And if I give you the example, when I become manager, it was my first team was one of the tough team I had, yeah. Because of various reasons. First is that it was very distributed. I had team members in 4 countries: India, I had Italy, I had UK, Westeros, and Germany. So it was like very distributed team, different cultures and everything. Yeah. Second is that I had a pupil that were experienced like 20, 30 years in this domain, railway domain in Alstom. Yeah. So the things I learned is that, as a manager, you need to be different with every person, because every person is different personality, correct? So you need to be adaptive as a manager, how you deal and listen to them, and also, help them to find a solution. One thing, when I got this team, I was a bit nervous, because, from a knowledge point of view, I was not that old in this company. So one thing I realized, that when you get a new team, or as a leader, you need to build a respect, yeah, within a team to be succeeded. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to have all the knowledge what the team is around, or the scope, yeah. You need to be street smart a little bit, and also, provide them the the environment where they can speak up and discuss ideas, and then you pick out from them what are they are talking, and then give them the answer, yeah. But the key thing is communication, to be honest. It's really, really important, because when you have a team in 5 different continents, or let's say 5 different countries, then and with the time difference and culture, yeah. So it's really important to it's very hard for everyone to relate with each other, yeah. So you need to provide them a forum where they can, regardless of their culture they are coming from or country they are coming from, they can discuss about work openly, and have a respect of each other. If I have seen examples where, one team member does not respect other one because of various reason. So, and when such things happen, you will have problems in a team. You need to encourage your team to always, treat everyone equally, give them the space to talk, and openly. That's why what I did is that I was having let's say, one-to-one discussion with everyone every week separately, to be open with me, and also created a forum where, I was there, where they are open to talk about everything. Yeah, and I was keeping the team meetings every second week, and there I was not focusing on presentation. I was mainly focusing as a open discussion, so that they can really, if there is something happening in a project and somebody is not happy, they can speak it up, and then we can sort it out, yeah. So, as I said, you need to be very adaptive as a leader, and you cannot really always be in a coaching mode or mentoring mode or let's say blunt mode. It's different for everyone. Yeah.
Mhm. That's a good point. And I guess this, um, I heard this from other people in industry that also, I mean, the communication is key. And I was wondering, is this something that you feel research should take into account? When you develop a technique or a technology that you want to use to make, I don't know, the testing process more efficient, do you think these human aspects, that they need to be taken into account also?
I strongly believe so, yeah, because I worked in research also, as you know. So the big
Hmm.
difference for me actually was this, because when I was doing research, I was having only once a month a meeting with my advisor, and I didn't even had a clue what my other peers were doing who were reporting to him or PhD student to him, yeah. So and sometime what happens is that we get the ideas when you have cross domain discussions, correct? And that
Hmm.
was missing. And what I saw that in research, when the people are doing research, they are so much into details, they get stuck. Of course, that's their journey for a PhD. I totally think is the right thing, but sometimes they need a little bit of push and an open discussion to get off the box. Yeah,
Hmm.
if they are falling there. So, and also, what I observe is that during this 3, 4, 5 years of PhD, let's say, they are so much in a detail, they start losing some social aspects, yeah, which is maybe not a good, because if they might want to change the industry later, or let's say domain from research to industry, they time to time struggle, yeah. So that's my view. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I don't know, Eddie. Maybe you can add few lines here.
No, I can tell you that what you said is, yeah, it's the core of what many researchers are doing now, especially when it's important to, um, I mean, the whole idea is that software is built by humans,
Yes.
and I mean, the whole idea is that in order to, ensure the quality in the final product, you need to create systems that, humans can understand and reason about. And I mean, human factors in software engineering are very important because,
Mm,
yeah, and I think in studying these aspects are important because technology is not is produced in a vacuum.
yeah.
And these are vital, I think, as you said, to a successful completion of a project. I totally agree. There are a couple of conferences and workshops that are dealing with these human aspects. Yeah,
Mm,
so I
yeah.
totally agree with you. But how? So you did. I know you did also research during your career. So how did this come about? How did you manage? Did you do it in Sweden, or was it even before that you were interested in research?
No, I did my research after I completed my master's in Sweden, and I did it in France, institute called INRIA, yeah. So in
Mm.
France, so I was there for 2, 3 years. So I did my research on electromagnetic radiations, yeah.
Wow.
So it basically, when I was doing masters, I thought that I'm a more of a person who is more technical. So that's why I chose that, and that's the reason I went into research. I was not very tempted by the industry at the time, yeah, to be honest, because I had the previous experience in industry in India. I was working in Motorola, where I didn't had really good experience, to be honest, yeah. It was not, let's say, the environment point of view, it was not very good experience. So based on that, I made my decision to do research. Then I
Mm.
went to India in France, where I spent 2, 3 years. And to be honest, around after 2 years, I started making my mind that I want to go back to industry. Yeah, uh, and then I realized, we are human. We learn every day. Yeah, and I learned what I wanted more, what I enjoy more than doing than what I was doing at that time, which was research. Yeah. So then I decided to come back to industry.
It's an interesting combination that I've seen in many successful people that come back to after a while. They come back to research, so they get so much experience in industry. When they come back to research and they do research in collaboration with industry, academia, they have this quite a lot of experience, and that's much helpful than you're just doing research, without having knowledge about how to develop a complex system. Yeah, that's interesting. So, I mean, right, coming back to maybe the present is now we are both of us part of a research project called SmartDelta. And this project is quite large. It has quite a lot of use cases, partners. Alstom is one part of SmartDelta, and the project is on, maybe I can say, on automated quality assurance and automation when you're developing incrementally industrial software systems. And I'm wondering, what is your ultimate goal in this project?
So basically, if you see, I don't know, if you see our use cases, yeah, from Alstom perspective, just going a bit in a background. So my department, which is TCMS, yeah, is very close to customer. It's very, very close. And we have lot of releases. Just to give an example, in one of the projects in my department called Aventra, we are delivering trains for UK market, and we are running 5 projects in parallel. In last 3 years, we did over 700 releases. Yeah, and this really fits in with the SmartDelta, because as you explained, iterative really updates. Yeah, and what we learned there is that if you focus on our use cases, there are mainly two main goals for us. One is to lift shift the defects that we are finding late in a cycle or by the end customer through this iterative releases that we're doing for software. At time to time we are getting lot, and it's one of the quality aspect. Yeah, to improve the software quality so that we send the software that will not have that will have less defects than it has now. Yeah, another aspect of what we want from a SmartDelta is to, during this process we have a lot of manual work that we are putting in. We want to reduce that manual work. For example, one of our use cases is automating the code review, which may sound like a small use case, but considering the technologies that we are using or tools we are using, it's quite complex, and it's really a lot of man hours that my team is putting in. So just if we do a small math here, 700 releases we did in last 3 years, and every release have more or less like 30-40 work items that we deliver. And how many we need? At least 2 people to do the code review. So it's a lot of man hours. Yeah, if we can automate that, that will directly help us to save a lot of money and also human errors. Yeah, so ultimate goal for us from a SmartDelta perspective is that we want to improve the quality, left shift the defects, and automate our processes more and more. Yeah, and that's very interesting for us because we are two different departments entering a SmartDelta, TCMS and propulsion. Both are, let's say from a process point of view, we are both similar way. We both follow V model with iterative approach. But they have a different tool set, we have a different tool set, and that's also is a good combination for a SmartDelta, because standardization, whatever tools will be developed by academia or solution providers, they need to keep the standardization in mind. So that's basically our goal. Yeah.
Yeah. This is very interesting, and I guess the project. I shouldn't guess because I should know that the project is until, I think it will run until 2025.
Yes.
So it's the idea would be to use these improvements in your projects and see how they work, I guess. How important is to have this exchange of information between different companies in different domains and academia and industry. Is that something that you feel helps?
I think it's very vital for us as Alstom, yeah, to have this kind of projects or exchange of knowledge between academia and other industrial partners. Because if you see, Alstom is now second biggest company in the world, and what I saw, because I worked in Bombardier, which now we are Alstom, in Alstom is a high focus on R&D, because we want to be pioneer, and it's really important for us. And Alstom from top management is also kind of giving us a message and pushing us to be more and more involved in with such R&D projects, and so that we can be we can continue be pioneer in this domain. And another thing, if you see, is a positive for us, that we have this new innovation center that has been opened in Stockholm and Västerås together. So this is a sign that Alstom as the company is putting a lot of faith in this region for R&D, and now it's our duty to increase and make it more successful. So as I said, it's really important for us to be part of such projects and learn from other industries what they are doing, how they are doing the things, and how they are moving ahead in digitization. And we are also going in the same direction. So it's, I would say, uh, this is something we want to we are taking it very seriously, and we want to continue building on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, this is. I'm thinking now that you talked about so many different aspects, and it shows that you have you did a lot of things during your career and to get here. And what I was wondering, going from this research to from research to education, from practitioner experience, what's the one thing that you wish you had known when you began your career? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard question, yeah, Eddie. But I was thinking about it. So I think one thing I observed when I look back about my career is that when I started, when I out from my education and started my career, uh, I was not that confident, to be honest, and I was lacking a lot of confidence in me, even though I think I had a knowledge at the time in my domain as per my age, but I was lacking a lot of confidence. So I would say, if I would have been more confident at the time, which I see in some of master thesis student which I am advising, I would have been maybe, yeah, more ahead, I would say. But it took me some time to learn this, because maybe the reason was that I come from India. My background, my education, because there the education system is a bit different, is more like is not that practical aspect there. Yeah. So I was lacking this confidence because of that, because I didn't apply my knowledge some anywhere else. Yeah. So when I came here in Alstom, it took me some time to understand, and then I realized that it doesn't matter is it India or Sweden or any other country. It's the same kind of knowledge we do when we do studies software engineering at the end. Yeah. So it took me few years to understand that I knew all those things which people are learning now after 2-3 years of career. So I was lacking bit confidence. That's what I would say. So I would encourage young guys to be bit, I would not say overconfident, but at least be confident about what they know.
That's a good advice, and maybe this is a good segue to because I'm always trying to get to get more advice for young engineers and students that are listening to this. Do you have any advice that for engineers and students getting started in software development and testing today? What skills do they need if they would like to work in a company such as Alstom? What would they need to know?
I have been doing a lot of hirings in last 3-4 years, yeah, and my it's very hard to understand a person in 1 hour or 2 hours of interview, but usually I have been interviewing with different managers also in different departments. Yeah, one thing we all agree to the core is that if a young guy we want to hire, we really focus we really want to understand how good he is in fundamentals. Yeah, because our industry anyhow is very specific, is railway domain. We have our tools, our processes, our languages where we work on, but as if you have a good fundamentals, really good, you need to be really good in your fundamentals, like object oriented programming, or what is development methodology, what is agile, small things. It looks like small, but these fundamentals really helps you to learn new things. Yeah, so I would really say that every young person or a graduate coming from university, they should really focus on the fundamentals. And then it's not, if you have a right fundamentals, the right level of fundamentals, then you can learn new things. Yeah,
Mm.
and the motivation, so motivation to learn and put yourself under challenge little bit. So I I cannot recall any example where a person has a good fundamental and really struggle to learn new things. So that's my view.
Mm. That's useful. Um, Now that I was thinking about what you said, and also about the research, and I wonder. So you've been author of papers, yeah, of these scientific papers. Also, you've been involved in that part of
Mm.
the work. And I was looking at the most cited paper you have, and it
Yeah,
was very. It's called "Comparison of Cross-Platform Mobile Development Tools," and it's quite highly cited
yeah.
paper. Do you have any any opinion? Do you want to say something about it? I was
Uh,
very,
it's a
very
it's a it's a good story, to be honest. Yeah, so it actually happened when I was studying in MDU like 10 years back. Yeah, so we had this course. I don't know if you know this research methodology. Yeah, which I think Vasif is running now.
yeah.
So this course asks you to write a paper. Yeah, and then for just to pass exam. Yeah, so me and my friend at the time, Emmanuel Palmieri, we both said, okay, let's write a paper together. Yeah, for to pass this exam. So we wrote this paper, and then we both were like bit ambitious guys at the time, let's put it this way. We said okay, why don't we just go for a conference, we try that. Yeah, so we put a lot of effort after passing this exam on this paper and improving this, and we got the help from Anthony Chiketi from MDU to tweak a little bit with the language. We didn't know at that time how to write a conference paper in a, it was our first time, so how to write a conference paper in that kind of language. Yeah, so yeah, he helped, and then we continued working. So to be honest, we after passing our even education, it took like 3-4 months for us to continuously working on this paper, and then we got selected for this paper. And about the citation, I would say maybe that paper was a, we were a bit lucky with the time and content about this paper, because at that time there was a lot of discussions and about this Android and iOS and things like this. Yeah, and that paper was basically about cross-platform development. You develop once, and that can be compiled on a different operating system.
Mm.
So maybe that's the reason that we got a lot of citation, but it was I would say we did put a lot of effort at that age, yeah, at that time, to make it happen. Yeah,
This is very interesting, and I will put the link to the paper in the notes. The paper is a comparison of cross-platform mobile development tools, and it was, I guess, published in 2012.
yes,
Yeah, it's an interesting story,
yeah.
and a successful one.
And
Yeah,
just
so
to add one thing, yeah, we didn't even
please.
had a funding about this paper to attend the conference. We didn't had any funding, nothing. So it was, let's say, ourself. We challenge ourselves. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
found our own funding and things like this. So it was a bit of a learning. So we learned a lot from this. So this is maybe something also I want to say to the young guys. Yeah, don't be afraid to try. Yeah, as at most what happen, you will fail, but you will learn a lot.
Yeah, that's a great advice, and I can only concur that that's the case. Well, all the best in your career, not only as a software engineer, manager, leader. In there, apparently, you have a career also in research, in the
And
scientific. Yeah.
yeah, I hope we continue working together, and then we make it more, let's say, important, good for both of us and for our departments. Yeah, and at
Yeah.
the end, maybe we help to make a bit difference in our domain. Yeah.
Here. I totally agree. In there, just my last question: where can listeners find you online and the projects you're involved? Is there a way to get in? I guess there is this LinkedIn, or do you?
I think easiest is to find me on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I think I have listed down my all the research project that I'm working on. So I think
Hmm.
from SmartDelta website also they can find me,
Hmm.
and yeah, other projects that I'm involved. So I think LinkedIn is the easiest, I would say. I'm
Yeah.
not very Insta and a Twitter guy, so
Yeah, no, I
uh,
think yeah, I think it's good to have. I was just wondering if people want to know more about you and the projects you're involved, they can go then to LinkedIn. I'll put the link also in the notes.
thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Inder. Thank you for taking the time, and it was a pleasure.
Thanks, Eddie, for inviting me, and yeah, let's make Smart Delta a success. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Let's do that.